Hey readers, it's Lori. Welcome back to my channel, Books, Ink, and Paper. I have a bit of a different video today. I will talk a little bit about some books and some things, but it's kind of just a check-in. I'm kind of 4 months in, I guess. Yeah, 4 months in since I restarted the Books, Ink, and Paper channel. And it wasn't an impulsive decision for sure. I'm noticing that I am taking in kind of some information about how it's going and what I want to be aware of and sort of notice, and also kind of what's next in terms of planning. So I thought I would just kind of chat with you a little bit today, maybe get some feedback from you as a result. It's just kind of a check in, not necessarily a check in on my goals because I'm doing that quarterly, but just a check in on my feelings about returning to creating content in this way on YouTube, how that is impacting my life, if you will. If you're interested in this, I hope you'll stick with me. And hopefully, toward the end, you'll have some ideas about what kind of feedback we could share with each other that I think would be useful. So, I kind of made a list this morning when I was thinking about it, how I'm feeling since I started. And so I'll be periodically looking at my list. I haven't shared this, I don't think, but I have this little folder that I got on Etsy, and it holds my field notes notebooks, which I love. I maybe could do a whole book journal in one of those one day, but anyway, I have written some notes on my little notepad for the day. So I am having so much fun. It is fun. It was fun before, and then it just became too much for me to manage with my work. But it is definitely fun. I love your comments. I love re-engaging with some of you that I've known since I began the last time. And I've loved meeting some new folks and engaging with you as well. It has just been enlivening for sure. That part is a big check mark in my mind about whether or not this would be something I would enjoy again. And the answer is absolutely yes, I do. I loved so far being able to do some new things that I hadn't really done before. One of those was the Mardi Gras readathon. It was my first year, so there wasn't a lot of participation, but I also didn't have any real high expectations for that. My expectations for my YouTube channel are not high. Not that I don't think that I could achieve some of those milestones, but I'm also not doing it for the subscribers or for the participation or for the comments, and certainly not for monetizing. I just want to do it because I love it. And I hope that you love the content too. And I also know that some days that content won't necessarily land with everybody or with anybody. That's really okay too. So I loved doing the Mardi Gras readathon. I loved hosting a readathon, and that was something that I've always kind of envisioned I would do. I love that I got to participate with my friend Sarah from Sarah's Nightstand and Lindsay from Lindsay's Little Library in the 5-star prediction round this time. That was an amazing joy for me, an unexpected request, and that I have just really been happy with. And I get to chat with them now and again. I chat with them now and again anyway, but I get to chat with them now and again about this, and it's been so much fun. Just the other night, for the first time ever live, I joined a reading sprint on Krista's channel, Books and Jams. I have seen reading sprints over the years. I think I did one once as using the recording several years ago, but it's not been something that I've really ever prioritized, even though it was something that interested me. So just a couple nights ago, I remembered that I had seen that there was a live coming up on Sunday night, and I joined, and I really had a great time. I didn't read a ton. When I do it again, I will not have I will not be in the same space as my partner watching TV because that was a bit distracting. What she was watching was also of interest to me. And I think I will just be more intentional about it. I knew it was coming. I marked it sort of as, like I think to remind me, but I didn't get a reminder. And then when I realized it had started, I was like, oh, let me join. if I were to do it again, I would set up a different reminder in my house. I would make a cup of tea. I would just really create a space for myself that is more peaceful and quiet and more conducive to reading more. But I did enjoy it very, very much. And I felt really good about completing that. I really did. I've posted 36 videos since I restarted. And when I think about that, given the fact that it was holiday time and it was wedding crunch and it was winter, and so the light, the days were growing, but still kind of short when I first started. And we have a foster puppy now, and we had to care for our sweet Charlotte pretty heavily for a number of months and didn't get a lot of sleep at that time. Just in general, my work life and my capacity and energy, I'm thrilled that I got 36 videos done. I don't feel like I rushed anything. I don't feel like I was stressed in doing any of that. I've been trying to plan ahead more, which is helping. My book journal helps for sure with that. That has really made me proud. And I feel really particularly proud of like some of the innovative things like the Mardi Gras readathon and Something Old, New, Borrow Blue with my daughter. And just some of the things that I'm doing that are slightly different than I did before. And then some of the things, I'm kind of stepping back into because, honestly, when you create content and you don't vlog, like I really haven't done very well at, when you don't vlog and you don't have live events and things, you do have to continue to create content. I don't know how I feel about hosting reading sprints. I don't know how to do it. There's a lot of technological stuff that I still don't really know how to do, and I don't really take the time to figure that out. And it may be time for me to do that. I have a couple of days that I will be by myself, which is weird. Well, me and the dogs and the cat. I may have some time then to kind of just focus on some things at night that I wouldn't necessarily focus on. I do think that I will be starting some future lists about content because I'm kind of just doing a month at a time, pretty much. That sometimes is a little problematic. I usually do a month, month and a half at a time, I guess, is where I try to, kind of land. I think that in terms of where I am now is what I'm happiest about. So let's go to some of the challenges. Here's a challenge. Unconsciously, I think I am driven to read more so that I can share more with you and talk about books in a different way, or to learn about books more than I was before. I think I'm listening to maybe not more podcasts, the same podcasts I've listened to before, but I am listening to more episodes and really trying to, and watching other booktubers, which I've always done, and really trying to come up with some ideas about what books I want to read that aren't like kind of mainstream, if that makes sense. Not that mainstream reads aren't great, and I am doing highly anticipated reads, and most of them are very anticipated by a number of people for good reason. I'm not saying I'm not going to do that, but like for example, I have an interlibrary loan I have to pick up today at my library, which I'm very excited about. And I learned about it from a booktuber that is new to me, Jen Campbell. I've mentioned her several times. She's in the UK. She has a very robust reading life. She's an author as well. I really like her videos, and she has a great way of describing the plots and the synopses of the books that she reads. And she actually recommended this book that I'm picking up today. It's called Remote Sympathy. And now I can't remember the author, so let me look that up. I should have prepared that for you today. Catherine Chidgey. I think I mentioned it in a video not long ago. It is in finally, and that is a book that was not on my radar at all and wouldn't have been. And I think it was longlisted for the Women's Book Prize, shortlisted by the Dublin Literary Award. I would not have known about that book had I not been watching someone new. Having said that, it really does bring me to a place where I feel like, oh, I have to read all the books. I feel like I have to read more. I even feel like I'm hauling more. I don't know that that's directly correlated to BookTube. It could also be correlated to the fact that I didn't intentionally haul a lot of books last year because I knew we were moving and it was just more books to pack and move. And there were enough of those already. Trust me. But I am noticing lately that now that we're settled, even though the bookcases are not complete, I am acquiring more books than I did before. And some of them are new releases that I was anticipating highly. Some of them are books that I've wanted to collect over time by authors that I want to reread or continue to read, or just books that I didn't have. And I'm going to this new library a lot. So that means I'm getting books from the library, which I've always loved doing. Sometimes I really do prefer trying to get them from the library before I purchase them. Having said that, I'm not reading some of the ones that I really want to read because there's too many, there's too much going on. So this one is an example. I'm going to be taking this back today when I pick up Remote Sympathy because I haven't gotten to it and I feel bad about that. I really wanted to read this and it's not available on audio unless I purchase it, which I might do. But it was something that I wanted to read and not necessarily add to my collection long term. And I just haven't been able to prioritize it. That's another thing is how many books, if I read 4 books in a month, the last couple of years, that's really been I've been satisfied by that. A book a week has really satisfied me. But I think there is some unconscious internal pressure for me to read more. It's not that I can't, because I have done. I used to read over 100 books a year all the time. And then I realized, and that was also during the time I was on BookTube. So then I realized that was a lot. I was also not making time for some other things that were important to me. So it's a balance. It's all a balance, isn't it? Life is a balance. Work is a balance. BookTube is a balance. Whether you're a content creator or a viewer, it's a balance. I think that I would like to be more aware of that and about like reading for the sake of being interested in the book rather than reading for the sake of being relevant. I don't ever really want to be in that space. I also think the reason I'm hauling more books is because I live closer to a bookseller. I actually live closer to 2 booksellers. So that there's that. And one of them is a dear friend of mine. So I like to support her. And she just opened a new little nook in a new place. I'm closer to her. I can support her more. I can go to the Barnes and Noble up the road, not too far, have a little coffee, sometimes a cookie, get a book. And then I, of course, have pre-ordered some new releases. This isn't really a negative, but I'm also curious about some things like, do I need equipment over time? Is this something that I need to really think about in a different way? I do wonder if I'm going to expand into vlogging, if I'm going to expand into reading sprints. Like, do I need other equipment? I don't know the answer to that. I wonder if that's important to viewers. So that's my first request of you. Is it important to you that videos are very professional and very well laid out with lots of fancy equipment and lots of cerebral content? Because I'm probably not your most eloquent cerebral girl. I'm just kind of sharing talk about books because I love talking about books with people and have done for a long time. I would appreciate any, comments that are useful and not overly critical, but certainly point out ways in which you think I could improve because I'm open to that. I really, really am. There was one the other day and I took it beautifully and in the way it was intended, which was you didn't really set that up very well. And she's right. I didn't. I didn't. The setups could be better for me. The preparation could be stronger for me. The other thing is, what content does really resonate with you? What do you love? What do you wish booktubers were doing that they're not doing, if anything? Like, what do you want me to talk about when I'm on this channel? And what would be new and innovative to you? rather than, not that they're not good, because a lot of you watch them all the time, and I love doing them. Book hauls, they always get a lot of views. Books anticipated read lists always get a lot of views. TBRs get a lot of views, even though I don't do the TBR very much anymore because I've just realized I'm too um, I don't know. I want that choice in the moment so much. I do think I'm going to start a jar of backlist reads so that I can start picking some of those more intentionally because I'm still kind of looking at that shiny object that is in front of me. But unlike the one I made years ago, which was actual titles of my backlist that I wanted to read, I'm going to put in prompts, as most people and many people do, and so that I still have a choice. Because if you say to me, you have to do this, I'm going to stomp my little foot and say, no, I don't. Because I'm kind of stubborn in that way. And I don't really like that quality in me, but it does serve me well in some ways, just not in a TBR jar. I think that's all I want to share with you today. I don't want this to be terribly lengthy, but I also just wanted to spend some time telling you about my experience for the last 4 months, about what I'm loving about it, what I would love to hear from you. And I just cannot again say enough about how grateful I am for the response from my return, as well as the response in new subscribers and in just the ability to do some things that I wasn't able to do before. I think as I make these next few years of my remaining work life count, I'm also noticing that I need something for myself, something that just lights me up. And I think that this is it. At least for now, it is. So that's when I'll keep doing it, when it still enlivens me. Thank you so much. I look forward to your comments. I look forward to seeing what you're interested in. And as always, happy reading. Bye.